Good morning, everyone. We'll get started here shortly. Hope everyone had a great weekend. Morning, morning. Crazy pre-market action so far. We'll get into it. Morning, morning, morning. Hope everyone had a good weekend. Glad to be back here today. Morning, morning. Can everyone hear me all right? Morning, everyone. Morning, morning. We'll get started here in a few minutes. Yeah, I'm slowly feeling better. Still not still not 100% though, which is crazy to say. Morning, everyone. We'll get started here in a few more minutes. Just waiting for everyone to get in here.
Hey, good morning.
Morning, Steve. How are you and your new bird?
And pretty good. He's sitting at the window now watching me. He just seems to like to sit there and stare at me. It's kind of funny.
You have a name for him
It's
yet?
fun. I probably am saying it wrong. Kumra, like charcoal.
So your wife named it.
My wife and my brother-in-law named it. So charcoal, basically. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it kind of looks dark Chloe.
Yeah. Yeah, he's pretty awesome. I'll share a recent pic. Really playful.
Steven is
Yeah.
now bird father, guys.
Uh, Pretty funny, man. I don't know how this happened. Hopefully he'll fly in the next couple days or week or so, and then he'll be good to go. But until then, he didn't seem to have a mom nearby, and there was a bunch of cats, and he was freaking out on our front door, so we didn't know what else to do.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, here's a pic.
Looks good, man.
Yeah, he's pretty awesome, man.
This one looks like James.
Like James.
This photo looks like James. So we'll get started here in a few more minutes, guys. Hope everyone had a great weekend. I spent a lot of time just resting, but still not 100%. I'd probably say I'm like 85%. The mornings and the nights are usually the toughest.
Man, it's still not 100%, huh? That's crazy.
It's insane, dude.
It's got to be going away soon. Jeez.
I'm hoping by the end of the week.
Yeah.
Dragon Ball is back. We finally know this.
Let's see. All right, guys, let's get started here. So, good morning, everyone. Welcome back to live trading. If this is your first time on live trading, welcome. We are using the webinars channel in Slack to communicate. The way we structure live trading is pretty simple. We talk about what's working in the market, what's not. We build the watchlist live, and we trade the watchlist live. So far is kind of where I'm at for the month. Up 42,000. As you guys know, I shared the live trading stream for the last couple days, so everyone can kind of watch and see what we do. Normally I'm just going to kind of keep the stream going from 9 a.m. to 9:29 a.m. And then if you want to watch the full live trading, you could email us and then we could help you out. But today's going to be another one of those days where we cut the stream at 9:29 a.m. Last month was my first losing month in a very, very long time. Lost about $7,000 on the month, which, pretty much made back already, with Friday's trading. Couple things to remember is next Monday, the market is closed. So, feel free to not show up because nothing's going to happen. Market is closed. Going to be trading this week until Friday. Then going to one of my good friends' weddings in Cancun. So, yeah, it should be a pretty fun time. Aside from that, a lot of crazy stuff this morning. So let's kind of start with the craziness. First things first is let's start with SPFM. SPFM, really, really crazy stock. Ran from 30 cents all the way to nearly $3. This is moving based on, I think, Ebola is coming back. So we had COVID, we have hantavirus, we got Ebola. I don't know what the hell is going on, but, all these crazy viruses are coming back. So all these stocks are going a little bit nuts. Maybe I have a variation of whatever the hell's going around. But this SPFM went crazy. And something that I want to kind of remind you guys is I feel like a lot of inexperienced traders just see stocks are up on the day. Oh, this is up 100%. This is up 200%. This is up 500%. I'm just going to short it. And a stock being up on the day is not a strategy to short it, right? That's not a strategy. So the biggest thing that you have to remember is, you have to trade on the short side when there's an edge. And just because something is up is not an edge. So this SPFM has traded, 233 million shares of volume. 233 million. It's not even 9:30 a.m. So there's a lot of volume. And something you have to remember is abnormal volume equals abnormal price action. So it's just been really, really crazy. And then this lights up other plays like GOVX. GOVX is up from $1 to $5 and now back to $3. And you have something like LABT. LABT went from $1 to $4 and now back to $1. So the biggest thing that you have to remember and the biggest thing that you have to understand about these stocks is you cannot just short it because it's up, right? You have to short it when there's a reason. So when you have stocks like SPFM taking all the money flow, taking all the attention and running like crazy, it's going to create new sympathy runners. And oftentimes those sympathy runners are not as strong. So look at this. SPFM was the first runner. It's still above VWAP. GOVX was the second runner. It's at VWAP. And LAVT was the third runner, and it's red on the day. You know what I'm saying? So that's what you have to kind of keep in mind, and that's what you have to kind of remember. I'm still not feeling 100% yet. Probably like 85% recovered. My throat still hurts. I've been drinking so much tea. Excuse me. So, my plan is same as always. Trade the market open and then walk away. As you guys know, I make most of my money between 9:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. After 10:30 a.m., I tend to lose money. So I just don't trade after 10:30, So I just try to keep it simple, man. Seriously. So coming into the morning, obviously LABT is probably going to be my top watch if this thing rebounds. I would assume that this SPFM continues to run. And if SPFM continues to run, I would expect GOVX to fail. So that's kind of what I'm thinking there. Aside from that, we have all these crazy names. So like I said, I think that the overall market is long overdue for some washout. To be honest, we got a really good sell-off day on Friday. We were opening up pretty weak pre-market, and all of a sudden we just kind of jumped back up. My first initial thought is that the first move on this gap up is probably going to be a short, kind of shorting that move up into resistance from Friday. Then what happens after that, I have no idea. The market has been super, super resilient. The market has been super, super strong. A lot of these memory names are still abnormally strong, man. It's really, really crazy how strong these memory names are. SanDisk is above Friday's highs. Micron is above Friday's highs. This thing was $700. $700 and just went up 10% on air, So these memory names, these, semiconductor names have just been really, really insanely strong. Even this SOXL, every single dip just gets bought up and bought up. So I'm not really interested in these memory names or these semiconductor names anymore. They're just way too strong. If the market turns around, these will probably be some of the first ones to get some profit taking in there. But as we continue to hold strong, it's just, the risk far outweighs the reward. So I'm not really that interested in these memory names. Aside from that, some news. We have dates for our meetup. I think this is our 8th annual meetup. If someone could correct me. It's going to be August 22 to August 24. Let me just confirm that real quick. 1 second. August 22, yeah. August 22 to August 24. We will have the discounted room block ready to share in a couple days. Just like last year, we're going to be hosting a private dinner to make the event free. So this event is 100% free. So if you are an MIC Platinum Lifetime member, you get to attend the event 100% for free. We host activations like private dinners or go into Universal or Disney World to kind of pay for the event. So If you're interested in becoming a lifetime platinum member, just feel free to reach out to Steve for our annual event. It is going to be a live trading event. So we're going to have 1 day of education on Sunday, and then Monday is going to be live trading with me and Bao in person. And yeah, it should be really, really good. I think we're at 8 years now, which is kind of crazy. I mean, I don't know where all the time went, but yeah, we'll share some more details, but you guys could officially block out August 22 to August 24 for our annual event. So with that being said, let's get started with the watch list, and then we'll take it from there. So as you guys know, the way that we build the watch list is we always go to the previous day's watch list and we build from there. Why do we do that? Well, we do that because usually the previous day's watch list still has stocks that, you know, we want to keep on watch and we want to kind of monitor, right? So let's get started here. So first things first is let's go to Friday's watch list. So Friday's watch list, I said, with the overall market gapping down, you know, I firmly believe that the short-term top is in. And I was looking to short Micron, SanDisk, and all this stuff, and I got a really good short on Micron on Friday, which led to an $8,000 P&L, which you guys saw on YouTube as well. But today, kind of really going to ignore these memory names. I'm going to focus on the next round stuff. SLE, let's see, SLE. You know, SLE kind of broken. I mean, this would be a really nice bounce. You know, maybe, you know, previous support acting as resistance. So you can see there's some support here in this 570s area, which should act as resistance. So I'll probably say like 575, probably like 6 and 650. So SLE, 575, 6, 650 to short. AUUD. AUUD is kind of reclaiming back. So I'm not really that interested in it. You know, oftentimes when these stocks start to reclaim and kind of near the high of the days from the previous day, it's not really much of an edge case for me. It just seems a lot more trappy than anything else. So probably going to ignore that. Obviously, we have the main hot stock runner of the day, SPFM. So SPFM, main hot stock runner of the day. 230 million shares of volume pre-market. Abnormal volume equals abnormal price action. So I am mostly ignoring this short and focused on the broken sympathy plays. GOVX tried running with SPFM and ended up pushing and getting sold off. Ideally, we are looking for a bounce near 4+ to short if SPFM continues to take the money flow. If SPFM fails, this GOVX can run. So need to wait for more information first. Next is LABT. LABT, what a crazy pump and dump. LABT, insane pump and dump. There were multiple chat rooms pumping this LABT where the chat room leader made tens of thousands of dollars and the innocent people following that chat room blew their accounts. So any bounce on this is a short. Any bounce on the stock is a short. Ideally near $2 plus. A couple other stocks in play. ZDAI, let's see. ZDAI is a $1 stock. Not really my bread and butter. So probably going to ignore that. GCTS. Let's see the float on this GCTS. You know, GCTS is a $180 million company. You know, so this is not really what I consider like a scam company. So probably not really much interest there on this GCTS. You know, what else is moving out there? You know, we mentioned that Microsoft had a buy from Bill Ackman, which is a billionaire. You can see that, you know, it went up nearly $20 a share. You know, you could kind of assume that there might be a short-term bottom on this Microsoft. So, you know, if Microsoft looks to reclaim VWAP, you know, you could go long based on Bill Ackman buy. So Microsoft can look to go long if VWAP reclaims based on Bill Ackman going long and potentially setting a bottom for the stock. What else is out there? CISS new runner, taking money flow and attention. You know, let these things run. CISS new stock, taking money flow and attention. Ideally, this takes the focus off GOVX or LABT. So pretty much my main focus is probably going to be at this GOVX in the morning. You know, ideally I would like to short LABT as well, but LABT is already down 13% on the day. It went from $4 to $1, man. $4 to $1. This is the problem with these pump and dumps, man. All these people that buy these pump and dumps, you know, are just, they have no idea that they're just like literally blowing up their accounts, man. So this is what I got for the watch list so far this morning. And with that being said, I'll pass the baton over to Steve. And then we'll get to live trading for MIC members in the next 10 minutes. So with that being said, Steve, I'll pass the floor over to you and we'll take it from there.
Sounds good. Thanks. So also, yeah, super excited for Orlando. Glad we got the dates. I know a lot of you guys have been asking. So this is going to be, you know, it seems like every year these get better and better, right? And I know, Alex, you had mentioned like possibly changing the venue, but the truth is, you know, as you pointed out, Alex, after considering it, I mean, the venue we have works really well. And plus, even if we did find a better venue at this point, I feel like, you know, so many members would still go to the old venue, right? Like,
for sure. We thought about doing a different venue, but
you know?
I feel like everyone's just so used to the venue that we've done that it's very, very good and it's very, very affordable. Remember, guys, this is a free event. You know, we don't charge anything for this event. So, you know, we make it so that the venue and the hotel rooms are very inexpensive. The hotel rooms are like $160 a night versus if we did somewhere like Vegas or, you know, Miami, it'd be like $600 a night, you know?
And that includes an open bar, right? Not that we're supposed to get necessarily wasted, but, you know, Friday night, Saturday night, you know, we usually do a little bit of socializing. And I mean, that's, you know, pretty huge open bar if you're staying at that hotel. So to a certain time. So anyways, that's going to be a blast. And as I understand it, we're still going to do, you know, what we did last year is, you know, at one of the theme parks, and that will be kind of a more private kind of thing where we can pay a certain amount of money, kind of like the VIP dinner, and then we can go to those, and those are a lot of fun. I think last time, I don't know, we had 12 to 15, and we had an absolute blast at Epic Universe. So anyways.
Yeah, this
really
helps us keep the events free, guys. So if you want to be able to support us, feel free to book a ticket to our private dinner or our Disney/Universal private tour. We'll have more info on that in the next coming days, but I anticipate that we're going to probably sell out as fast as we did last year. That was probably the best time that we had, man. Seriously.
It was a blast. And, you know, towards, I mean, I don't remember the dates, but maybe a month or so before the event, we had no more Epic Universe passes because, guys, we had a personal tour with our own tour guide and a small group of us where it wasn't like the wristband where you just go to the front of the line. We had no line. We just walked straight on every ride we wanted, right?
Yeah, they took
we
us
had
to
a
the
free
back
lunch,
door.
a free dinner.
It was sick.
Yeah, it was amazing. So I had members up until a couple weeks before the event, like, can I get in there? And I'm like, I'm sorry, man. We said there was one more, and then we said it was taken, and they limit the amount that they could accept in the tour. And they're like, I'll pay double. And I'm like, man, if we could, we would. But they give us a certain amount. So once we announce it anyways, just hit me up and we'll go over everything and we'll try to get you guys signed up as quickly as possible. But yeah, really excited for that, and that's going to be a blast. Cool. So I got a topic today. Let's spend the next 5 minutes or so talking about this. I want to talk about something that I come back to often because it's a big one. I get DMs on this all the time. Added some new notes. If you guys have anything to add, as always, feel free to chime in. I want to talk about getting your winners bigger than your losers. Came up with a cool kind of graphic. Feel free to check out the graphic while I kind of go over these notes. And, you know, guys, I'd really love these to be more interactive. So if you guys ever have any other ideas, something that's worked for you, for example, on adding to winner, something that I might have missed or an adjustment, you know, feel free to just chime in. And then when I get through it, you know, I could kind of go over that and see if you guys have any great points. So getting your winners bigger than your losers is a huge game changer, right? This is probably the main thing I see in successful traders versus traders that are really struggling. The ones who are struggling, whenever I look at their calendars and their P&Ls, whenever they want to share them, I always notice that, you know, it'll be like, I'm sure a lot of you are in the situation or you've been in the situation. I know I certainly was for a long time when I was getting started, but it would be like several days, you know, green. And then it would be like one day that wiped out like 1 or 2 weeks of my green trades, right? So, or even, you know, the ones that take out like 3 times more than your average win day. Those ones also sting, right? And they also make it really hard to kind of get some momentum going, right? So here's some pointers to kind of help you guys overcome that. One thing that we always do here in MIC is we've got the 30% rule. The 30% rule says that we're never more than 30% sized into a trade unless it confirms. Mainly if we're short, that means under VWAP, under key support, and backside, right? When it's, you know, near the highs, when we're anticipating maybe when we're above VWAP, etc. We could be in 10%, we could be in 20% of our size, but we never want to be more than 30%. You get in 50% or 100% of your size in those kind of questionable situations before the trade confirms, and you know, it might work out sometimes, but you're going to get, you know, hurt and stopped out a lot of the times. And I was kind of thinking about this analogy. You know, we always use the blackjack analogy. It's like, you know, wait till you see the first cards and get that confirmation, then you decide when to bet. Trading is kind of like that, where we kind of have a little insight before we could decide to get involved or add more size. But, you know, it's also kind of like whatever. It doesn't matter. It could be whatever sport. It could be boxing. It can be a football game. It could be whatever. But imagine if you wanted to bet on that game, but I told you, you know, let's say it's a boxing match. I told you could, you know, watch the first round first, and then you could bet, right? With the same odds as before, right? You know, the fight started. So it's kind of like that. You know, there's no reason to rush in, especially if we've got some meat, some room on the trade. We want to get that confirmation first. That's really key. So if the trade does confirm and it's moving in your direction, meaning essentially you're green on it, you see the P&L is green, and again, when you're short, it's under VWAP, then you can get more than 30% of that size, right? But until those things happen, you never want to add 30%. If the trade's red going against you, that's not when you ever want to be adding, right? When we do add more size, here's the key. We want to avoid adding more risk. What does that mean? So I'm using the example as a short because obviously I'm a short. There's a lot of shorts here. You do the opposite if you're long, right? But what that means is, you know, like when we trade, I think James and I had a good example of this last week. We were trading and we both lowered our stops on a trade, and we basically said, James said, okay, I'm taking some profits and now I'm break even if my stop hits, right? And I had a similar situation, right? So when we add more size, and there's some examples in this graphic, but when we add more size, we want to make sure that we are lowering our stop, right? We don't want to keep the same stop and then add more size, more than 30%, right? So when we do add more size, next one. Ultimately, we want to be at a point in the trade where we're guaranteed to have a green trade. And that was the point you saw, you know, you see it here in the live trades a lot, but, you know, I'm going back to the example of when James and I were trading last week because we were both in that situation. And we were at a point where we talked about it during the live trades. And I said, hey, you know, now we are guaranteed profits and this is a good place to be in, right? So again, this happens after we've taken profits and or after we've adjusted our stop to break even or better. You know, sometimes I like to put my stop, you know, under my break even, right? So So if it hits, I'm still in the money no matter what, right? Once the trade gets to a certain point. So some real quick key points. Every trade you enter should have a full plan in place, complete with your risk amount. Entry areas, hard market stops, all that stuff. If you guys need any help with this, or if you're new or you're struggling in any way, get active in the discipline workshop. This is exactly what we teach there. If you're getting stopped that often, only see your trade ideas work. Consider giving them more room. You can size down and give them more room. That usually works well. Your stop should generally be in an area where if hit, trade idea is no longer valid. For me, that's usually above a key resistance area or death candle or something like that. We want to be lowering our risk as we're adding more size, as talked about earlier. And a reminder that tight stops that get hit often usually mean you're sized in too much, right? So size down, less is usually more. We've got a bunch of examples of this, even in the recaps we went over Friday. So yeah, if you guys have anything to add, feel free to chime in. Also, friendly reminder, if you guys are listening on YouTube, we had a couple members that we spoke with over the weekend that ended up joining this morning from YouTube Live. I think this is a really good a way for you guys to kind of get a glimpse into what we're doing here. And we currently, I think it's just today, maybe it's tomorrow, but if you guys emailed me today, we could definitely get you in on this. We've got a code for first time trial month for 50% off. So I'll post now in YouTube chat. Just hit me up at StephenRH1 at myinvestingclub.com today. And we'll get you guys in here for a 50% off trial month and see how you guys like it. Cool. That's it for me. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Steve. So with that being said, we will end the YouTube stream here and get to live trading for MIC members today and take it from there. So let me wrap up the YouTube and then let's get started here, guys.
Steven says, love the graphics. Could you create a channel and put all of them in it? I had a couple members DM me and I sent them all the graphics, and one of them said he was going to put together a comic book and give them away
100%
at Orlando.
comic book incoming.